Hey YouTube, how's it going? How is your day? Today I worked from home and I went to the eye doctor. Everything's fine. Nothing's wrong with my eyeballs, but they definitely poked and prodded at my eyes a little bit and put lots of junk in there and did lots of tests on my eyes. So they've been a little bit more sore than usual, but I was given some fancy eye drops that I'm supposed to use at a regular basis, and then in 6 weeks I'll go back and let them know if my eyes have improved or not. So that's good news, but my eyeballs are hurting a little bit more than usual today. DC says, finally catching a live. Hey DC. Mr. Ranger Lab, hello. Amanda, hey. Anastasia's here. Hi, Gary. Gary says hi to the chatters as well. Monica. Hi, Monica. How's it going? Thank you for joining. Yeah, nothing serious wrong with the eyeballs, which is good. But they just were jabbing and shining lights in there. Fancy eye drops that kind of froze the eyes, But now for a while I have to do certain kinds of eye drops every 2 hours. And so in 29 minutes, I'm going to be putting some eye drops on. Oh, Neil's here. Hey, Neil. How's it going? Sorry to hear your eyes are sore. Yeah, thank you. I hope they will help for sure. I hope they will. Let's assume they will. Hi, Lori. Oh, it's so fun that I have friends here. This is so cool. Oh, Sina. Hello. So nice to see you. Thank you for joining. So fun when you're here. Oh, thank you, Lori. That's so nice. And thank you, Anastasia. I appreciate that. This is finally, they're telling us the year. Usually when we look at old Amway videos here, they don't tell us the year. This is Rich DeVos at some kind of leadership meeting from 2001, and he's in Malaysia. So you see here, the playback speed, 1.75. There are some parts where it's a little fast with 1.75, and then on the other part, at other times 1.5 is way too slow. So I think I want to start at 1.75, and then if anyone thinks it's too fast at all, then we can go down to 1.5 because he talks so slow. I had to do something similar. Thank goodness for timers on phones, for sure. Lick the stream. Yay, Amway, for sure. So, getting rich magically. Rich DeVos, one of the co-founders, he's unfortunately passed away, but I'm very excited for this. This will be good. And PH Actress is here. Good. I'm glad you're here. I like it when PH Actress is here for the Amway one. So welcome. And yeah, DC said he totally talks slowly. Okay, I'm ready. Tell me if 1.75 is way too fast.
I came here today primarily to congratulate all of you, and not just the ones who are on the stage, because all of you are winners, and all of you should be up here, and I congratulate all of you, because that's why you're here, because of what you do. Congratulations.
So the first couple seconds, let me know, how's his speed? Too fast, too slow, just right? He said he's congratulating everyone. We know in MLMs, you are congratulated for showing up to a call, for going to a conference, for doing something that doesn't actually lead to financial gain for you. And I think it's just a way, we a million years ago on this channel, Michael Neiman told us that we had to have 100 business celebrations a day or a month. How do I slow to 1.65? Can you really do? What? Can I custom? What? That is magical. Why don't we try 1.6? Yeah, let's do 1.6. Thank you, DC. That's awesome. Thank you so much. But yeah, we have to celebrate everything because we're not making any money, and we have to celebrate something, or else we're going to see that we're going into debt, we're being mistreated. We are told to buy into what, in my opinion, is a cult mentality. But they literally tell you, submit to your upline, submit to the mission of Amway. We have to celebrate everything, or else we're going to realize that we're in a pyramid scheme and or a cult. That's okay, Lori. Lori, everyone says hi, or Lori says hi to everyone. There you go. Magic festation is my preferred spelling of manifestation. Oh, I agree. And Mark also is a wealth of information. Oh, I almost put Monica into timeout. I would never do that. Let's see how many actual tips on the business he gives versus useless stories on how he got rich. There's going to be lots of stories in this one.
I asked the management whether we could afford this or not. And they assured me we could, because you're doing such a good job and the business is doing well. And so we have much to celebrate today. But most of all, I celebrate your love and your friendship and all the years that we have grown to know the beauty and the wonders and the talents of the people of Malaysia. It has been always a highlight for me to come to Malaysia. And
he's so grateful for the love and the friendship of the people of Malaysia, and it's always a highlight for him. I feel like every celebrity, every singer ever will always say how New York or Montreal is just my favorite place ever. There's no way that Malaysia is his favorite place. There's no way that like New York is his favorite place. Like he probably says that to everybody, no matter where he is. China's his favorite place. New York is his favorite place. Toronto is his favorite place. That is, as in my opinion, it is not very genuine to hear him say that and to hear him say he's so grateful for the friendship and the love of the people in the room. He doesn't know the people in the room, most likely. He might have talked to them once or twice, but someone like Rich DeVos saying that in a room that might not be that many people, it doesn't seem like it's tens of thousands of people. That probably makes them feel very special and like they're a part of a very elite group, but there's no way that he knows all those people unless there's like 5 people there, right? I don't know. Nothing like 22-year-old advice that was outdated when it was originally given. Same here. I'm ready for the Amway steal. Yay! Love the Amway ones. I'm glad you're here, Mark. This is Rich in 2001 in Malaysia.
My memories from meeting your prime minister when he spoke to one of our meetings, to Jerry and Angela being honored by the king of your country and becoming a Datu Sir Jerry, Datu Sherry, Jerry. You know, I hardly know what to call the guy anymore. But I'm just going to call him my friend Jerry, if it's okay. But if it wasn't for Jerry's persistence and faithfulness and loyalty to the Amway business during difficult times, I don't know where we would be today. And so I thank him and many others for that. Sonny, it's good to see you again.
I think the idea of loyalty to a workplace is a little bit strange. I've never felt loyal to a workplace. Maybe I felt loyal to a supervisor who treats me nicely and helps me when I have questions and cares about my career development. But the idea of being loyal to my physical workplace, I don't think I've had that experience before. But Rich's definition of loyalty here, in my opinion, is sticking with Amway through legal battles, through issues with the government, through chatter about Amway being a pyramid scheme, and we have to stick through the adversity in order to become a true leader, because leaders stick it out through the adversity, and that's how their businesses grow. Yes, it is culty. Agreed. I don't know the DeVos family and my connection until Betsy became a Secretary of Education. Can't complain enough about this one. Yeah, I didn't know about Betsy DeVos being in government, being connected to Amway until I was talking about when I was first starting to do Amway videos. I think like my first Amway video was the Dexter Yeager one from, I think, over a year ago. I was talking to my husband about it, and I was talking about the 2 founding families. He was like, "Excuse me, is that Betsy DeVos? Is she connected to them?" And yeah, that's how we learned about it. I love the Amway ones too. I bet they never thought it'd become this possible to only openly talk about how bad Amway is. And I thought they weren't supposed to put things on YouTube, on the internet, but there is a wealth of information, a wealth of older Amway videos across YouTube. For me, sometimes loyalty supersedes my gut reaction that would prevent me from leaving when I wanted to. I don't know if that's actual loyalty, but seems like misplaced loyalty. And maybe also sticking around because you think that's like what an adult in the workplace should do. Like for me, my first ever job, I was there for a year. I moved across the country for it, but I saw really quickly that it was not a good place for me to be and that I needed to leave. But I felt, well, I moved here by myself. I should stay longer than 11 months. But then I realized, no, it's a bad place for me to be and I need to move on. So I think it's kind of both. Like, I don't know. My gut reaction was I should leave, but I was also feeling like, well, no, I'm an adult and I should stick it out and try to establish my career. Mark and Monica, thank you so much. That's so nice of you. I appreciate that. And I love seeing you both in my streams. It's awesome. I hate the rhetoric having to have loyalty to the workplace like that. Exactly, Monica. I was loyal to a workplace or more so to the product. It was a daily newspaper. It sounds funny or quaint, but nonetheless true. Yeah, I understand that. I understand that. For me, at this point in my life and my career, I have not felt loyalty to a workplace, but I've also like jumped around a little bit in the past while. But yeah, good point. We are family thing is icky. I think it's just another way to say being loyal, for sure. I'm loving this conversation so far. It's been like 2 minutes and we've had so much good conversation. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for all of your level-headed, pointed, intelligent commentary on these companies. Thank you, DC. That's so nice. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. I love it. This is great. It's been 2 minutes and it's already awesome.
And we love you. And I remember us flying together from someplace to someplace on one of our journeys out your way. So my memories are many. And many of you weren't around the day you mobbed us at the airport in Kuala Lumpur. I think the prime minister of your country was jealous of that, and he probably still is. Because he said to me, nobody ever came out to the airport to meet me like that. And that was undoubtedly a record for that whole country, to see that many people come to say hello to one person. And so that's one of my special memories as well. We thank you for that. But while we talk of wonderful memories and great achievements and loyal staff.
It's a little weird that the CEO of a company was mobbed at the airport. A little strange. I could understand how it would be memorable for him, but it's a little strange. What do we think? It's a case of loyalty for the, yes, but not for me. They expect undeserved loyalty to them, but they'd cut you off in a heartbeat if it suited them. Brilliant point, and he's going to say something like similar to that later in the video. And I think this is going to be 2 parts. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through all of it tonight, but we are going faster. We do have it at a higher speed, so we'll see.
And the struggles in a strange country, and your struggles with the language barriers and labeling and product supply and all the different challenges that we have met. I really would like to talk to you today a little bit about overcoming what I think is one of the biggest problems. Now, I'm an old guy now. I'm out of the business. My body is 74. My heart is 42. My average age, therefore, is 59. But when I try to say things to you as leaders, I recognize the challenges you have to overcome and that you have had to overcome just to get here. But as the business matures, sometimes our leadership forgets what they did to get here. And it's important for me and for you to remember what we had to overcome. A lot of that was fear. And my subject really is fear. Overcoming the fears of life. The fear you had to overcome of going into Amway and what other people would say if you got in Amway. The fear of selling. And you had to overcome that. And the resistance of people who said the price was too high or the product wasn't good. But all over the world are people who are afraid to sell. And they say,
I wanted to let him talk, but a lot of things in MLMs are reasonable. A lot of things said in MLMs are reasonable when you just apply it to day-to-day life, because we all experience fear or apprehension. We might feel anxious here and there. We might not want to do something that we have to do. And I think that's a normal part of life. Like you start a new project at work that you're not really sure what your role is or how you're going to contribute. I think it's natural to be a little bit apprehensive about that. But I've said this 1,000 times, there's a huge difference between feeling apprehensive about starting a new task and thinking, I should not be doing this, my Amway upline is telling me to message 100 people every single day, and this feels off to me. I should not be doing this. There's a difference between, like DC said earlier, you having a gut reaction to something that you find unethical and just day-to-day fears and worrying about things. Does that make sense? And he's trying to say, well, it's normal. Everyone feels fear, but there's a difference. There's a difference. Fears of being investigated by the FTC, fears of being shut down immediately. Yes. If being a salesperson is this complicated, count me out. Gosh, doing all of these mind games to become a 1099 independent contractor. Right?
Oh, I can't sell. But a lot of you said that too. And a lot of you felt that way once too. But you overcame that fear, didn't you? And so it is with the fear of where this company is going. Because oftentimes when the business has setbacks, I wonder what's going to happen. And the fear of change comes in on us. And the old guys are gone. And Doug and Dick are there. And so there's a change. But as we get older, those are good changes. But it's important to recognize the passage of time. But remember, as we work on overcoming our fears, our personal fears, our corporate fears, the fears of our own destiny, our own health, our fears we have to deal with also as to how we feel and what our health is like. I see Jerry's even limping now. It's okay, going to be all right, huh? I remember once I came to Malaysia,
we always have to be adapting to change when we're in an MLM. I'm thinking about in Beachbody, where the compensation was slashed for the majority of coaches. They get less of a team cycle bonus. They have less access to, they make less commission and have to pay more for their products, but that's just change. Every business changes. Every business goes through ups and downs. And I'm connecting that back here because worrying about what's happening with the business, worrying about Dick and Doug, the sons of the co-founders, taking over the business. But it's just change. We just have to be adapting to change. Well, what if, like PH Actress said, we're being investigated by the FTC and we're forced to change our compensation plan and we're now making less money? That's a significant change and that can impact our livelihood. What if the sons of the co-founders in Amway or any MLM are taking it over and are bullying people and mistreating people, and you are now feeling unsafe when you are in calls with them? Like, that's a significant issue, and that deserves like further reflection on our end. Again, yes, we have to be adaptive to change, but not all change. Some change is bad. What other legit sales company makes their employees do all this mental gymnastics? How is this attractive to people? That these people who are at this event are already bought in. They've already been in Amway for a while, and they're already ready to submit to their upline into the system. If I had to overcome being next on the chopping block after 2 other pyramid scheme MLMs were shut down for good, ruining me forever, I'd be scared too. Exactly. Yes. Like always telling a vague story with no detail and not talking about the comp plan products or how to sell to customers. Yeah. And he's not going to. I have to say, adapting to change is something needed for every business, but there are definitely different cultures and different companies with respect to how people are treated. And it's a reasonable thing to say on the broader level. You got to adapt to change. Things are going to change, sure. But when your income is slashed, when you're being mistreated because of a change, it's okay to question it.
I shouldn't tell this story. I had a hernia. You know what a hernia is? Down here, Jerry. So all the time I was speaking, I spoke with my hand in my pocket to hold my hernia in. Some people said, get your hand out of your pocket. And I said, I can't. I guess that's not translating very well. It's okay. Only Jerry knows. He'll tell you sometime in your language. But those were fears all the time. Now, the best way I can help you understand overcoming fears is to take you through the fears and the challenges that we have gone through so that you'll understand that this business is built on solid ground. The United States government challenged.
Lori and Anastasia both said TMI at the same time because he's holding in his hernia. Why are we talking about that, right? Why are we talking about a hernia when we're supposed to be telling people how to build their business? Yeah, some changes, they can go away, right? Some changes we don't need to be flexible with. Some changes are toxic. Some changes are bad. And it's okay if we question it and push against it. Oh, my reminder for my eye drops in 10 minutes. Oh, right, Monica? It's a business meeting. Why are we talking about hernias?
The rights of individuals to sell vitamins. And our
Okay, so the government was questioning the rights of individuals to sell vitamins. Okay, the United States government challenged
the rights of individuals to sell vitamins. And our companies fought a long war with the government. When doctors and most people all over the world said you do not need vitamins, we went out and said you do. And so we overcame that fear. Many distributors quit because of what their doctors said about you don't need vitamins. And now the whole world knows you need vitamins. So it took courageous people. So it took courageous people like us and like you to overcome those fears. And even today, to convince people that they need better nutrition. Because they're either unknowing or they're afraid of what they might take, or they don't value their health. So our crusade is to help them understand what they can do to help themselves by taking better nutritional products like Nutrilite. I know some of you were at Nutrilite for several days. I think 3 days just.
Apparently, at some point, the government challenged the rights of individuals to sell vitamins, and it took courageous people to push through and make sure the company was still able to thrive or something. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's what the government is trying to do. It takes courageous people to ignore government lawsuits against your company, to take in what your leaders are telling you at face value, not question anything, not do your own research about the lawsuits the government has against your company. No, it doesn't take courageous people. It takes people who are completely bought in to the system, who are completely just going to follow every little thing their upline tells them to do without question, who idolizes their upline, who will take anything they say at face value. The people in Amway have to be like that. They don't have to be courageous. They just have to be bought into the Amway system and ready to submit to their upline and submit to Amway. That was not well said at all. He's talking about his hernia. It's because he's showing about how much he suffers as he brings this important message to the world. He is suffering people. And he had to hold in his hernia while giving a talk instead of resting. And so we have no excuse ourselves to not work our business because look, the almighty rich was able to continue working even though he was in severe pain, right? MLM is built on people thinking they need supplements. And I'm sure some people do, right? Like my doctor told me I need to take iron, so I take iron, but that's all I take. That's not exactly what they were doing. They were questioning whether the vitamins they were selling actually did the things they claimed or if they were selling snake oil. Interesting. Yeah. Love that. Good point. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't know anything about it, but yeah, it's just the mental gymnastics, right? Instead of saying you didn't question anything, you just followed us blindly. You're courageous. You're courageous because you ignored a government lawsuit. Why do they think pushing through pain is a flex? What about time freedom and the ability to have time to seek medical attention that supposedly the 9-to-5 does not give you? Exactly. Anna Woolston. Hello, Anna. How are you? I don't think I've seen you here before. This man is named Rich DeVos. He was the co-founder of Amway. We're listening to a speech he gave in 2001. Like Lori just said, he's telling us about how he continued to give a speech to probably thousands of people on an Amway stage while holding in his hernia. Because he suffers. He suffers to give us the message, right? They made the health claims since the 1940s. Ooh. Oh, okay, are we ready? Let's keep going.
Last week, yes. We were there yesterday. They told us about your visit and how much they enjoyed having you there. And they told us how much they thought you learned from being there. One of the souvenirs they showed to us yesterday was a smashed pack of cigarettes. Because as they talked to some of you about having better health, somebody in this crowd became convinced they should quit smoking. And so that smashed pack of cigarettes was left on the seat because somebody just smashed it and says, I quit. That's part of the crusade of what we're all about, in helping people discover how to live better and to take better care of themselves. You know, it isn't always a matter of just living longer, it's just a matter of living better and healthier while you're here. And so that's what we're all about. You know, Jay and I started in Nutrilite 51 years ago. Now we celebrate 25 years in Malaysia. But 51 years ago, we bought a sales kit, just like
part of our crusade, part of his crusade is helping people live healthier lives, helping people realize that they need to be engaged with their health and they should want to learn how to be more healthy, right? Why is MLM always connected to like a broader mission? It's never just we're selling soap, we're selling household products. It's like Carl Deichler says, we are ending the trend of obesity in America. Like Rich just said, we're on the crusade to help people live healthier lives. We're salespeople. We're salespeople. It's not that serious. Why can't you just say we're salespeople? Oh my, good for him. Thanks for the ketchup. Jesus suffered to bring the world a message too. ... He's frustrating, eh? Rich is one of the biggest con artists in the history of the world. I feel like a lot of the Amway friends definitely could be considered at least very dishonest and trying to deceive people or overtly lie to them for sure. And welcome to the stream. Thank you for being here. Yeah. Imagine thinking, because of my pyramid scheme, because of my MLM, I'm helping people become healthy. But in reality, we are taking money away from them and probably hurting their physical and mental health because they don't have money to actually go to the doctor.
Like you bought a sales kit. And we went out and started presenting neutrally. And we were laughed at and ridiculed just like you. Well, we didn't stop, did we? And neither did you. And I'm trying to establish that it takes courageous people to overcome fear and these challenges. And as you do that, you get stronger and stronger. And so that you can meet bigger challenges as they come ahead of us. Business and life is a constant challenge. There is no end to the challenges you will face.
I named this Riches Just Like You. It's probably a random name for this because you literally just said, just like you, back in the 50s, I bought, or the 40s. When did he start? I don't remember when they started in Nutrilite. I bought a sales kit just like you. I started a business from scratch just like you. No, we're not like you, Rich. You are not like us. You are not relatable.
People that you think right now are going places in your group, somebody may quit tomorrow. And when you get home, you'll learn that they quit for some reason. Somebody scared them off. But that means you replace them. And so our business is one, like somebody asked me at a seminar I did a couple of days.
I thought we cared about everyone. I thought you were so grateful for the love and the friendship of everyone in the room. And then you're just saying, well, they're going to quit and you can just replace them. So do we care about them or are they just replaceable? And I love this point, Sina. Great point for sure. The fake spiritual mission fills you up. Love that. Brilliant point. Something to distract you from the reality of your situation, right? Love that. MLM has to present themselves this way so people who are involved in them feel like they're actually helping people. Exactly. Yeah, he's going to say something interesting about the Amway tool scam in a little while. I don't know when it is in the video. Hopefully you're around when he says it, but it's pretty interesting. Anyone who knows about the Amway tool scam, I will let you know when that comes up, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Yes, literally. He said earlier, I treasure your friendship, and then it's just like, oh, replace them if they quit. Which one is it?
Days ago, says, what is a leader? Like all of you are. What is a leader? Are they made? Are they created by God that way? Is it something you can learn? Yes. And yes, they're both right. But leadership, in my experiences, is something we do by talking and working with a lot of people. And what we do is discover leadership in people. We can't make people leaders, in my opinion. Yes, God certainly put some of that into some people, but they don't even know they have it. And a lot of you never knew you had leadership ability till you found this business. Then you discovered that people would listen to you and would follow you and would believe you. And one day you said, I'm a leader. So it's an age of discovery. And as you sponsor people, you can't make somebody a leader who doesn't want to go out and sell, or won't make a phone call and recruit somebody, or won't come to a meeting. You are not good enough. You'll make them something. You only discover those. And so what you know in the way of overcoming that rejection is you just keep talking to more and more people until you discover them. We're in the discovery business. If I knew how to make a leader, I'd go down to the poorest part of Kuala Lumpur and make them all leaders. But I can't do that.
That's a strange thing to say. If I could make leaders, I'd go down to the poorest part of Kuala Lumpur and make them all leaders. I feel like that's a strange thing to say. And they always call recruiting something else, something that it's not. Now, instead of recruitment, it's leadership discovery. We are in the leadership discovery business. Why can't you just call it recruitment? And it doesn't really matter if the person is a true actual leader. It matters if that person is able to recruit people and convince them to stay in the system for longer so they can make money off of them losing money. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter if the person beneath you actually finds financial success or like treats their downline kindly or gives them help. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. Is this a haunted house? Scare them and replace them. So happy I stumbled upon this live, right? Rich DeVos has some interesting speeches on the internet. If you just want to YouTube him, you will learn lots of interesting things. Rich rightfully pointed out the fact that success rates in Amway did not increase after the creation of the Dexter Yeager and Bill Britt tools. Ooh, interesting. Yes, exactly. Just say recruitment. And Lori said, you don't discover them, you trap them. You lie to them, you trick them. Saddens me that so few anti-MLMers talk about Rich. You're welcome. Thank you for watching and for your insightful commentary. I appreciate it.
I just have to talk to everybody, and one day somebody says, okay, and they make a sale, and they make a recruiting meeting, and they recruit somebody, and all of a sudden they become a direct one day because they took upon themselves that responsibility. So leadership is a part of our discovery process. Now, once we understand that, then the fear of somebody dropping out disappears because then we just replace them. But we don't allow our business or our life to be controlled by what one other person does or says about you. And so oftentimes we do. Now, we've had a whole run through the United States, mostly in the United States, of people telling their distributors, because they're afraid to sell, their answer is, you don't have to sell. I must tell you, that's the wrong answer. Because if you tell them they don't have to sell, they may get in, but they will never have a business.
That's true, because you have to sell a product, more so the opportunity. If you don't sell people on the dream, if you don't sell people on the fact that they too can become multimillionaires just like Dexter Yeager did, then you won't be able to make any money. So he's right. He's correct. And I love this point from PH Actress. Recruitment is boring and straightforward. Leadership discovery captures the imagination and heart. Plus, they technically are not allowed by the FTC to be in the recruitment industry. How interesting. My microphone keeps flopping around. And that's true, right? Because recruitment sounds kind of, as you said, it's boring, it's stuffy. But if you're discovering leaders, then you could potentially be making a really big impact in their lives, and you could be helping them develop into who they're meant to be, right? Yeah. In MLM, in Amway, they want you to allow your upline to completely control everything you do, how you spend your leisure time, how you communicate with people, how you show the plan. We've literally heard people talk about how you need to like fix up your teeth, you need to go to the dentist, you need to cut your hair, you need to go to a nice menswear store and get a nice suit because you need to present yourself really well. You need to look the part in order to be successful, but you could look so amazing. You could have the greatest suit ever, but if people know it's a scam, they're not going to join you. And Amway is not a numbers game, because you could talk to 1,000 people, and if they're even slightly knowledgeable about what MLM is, they're going to know that Amway is a scam. They're going to know that it's a scam. Lori had a question here. Was his problem with the tool scam that he was not making the money from it? I do not know the answer to that. MLM is fraud or PH Actress. If one of you know the answer, that would be great. So PH Actress asked MLM is fraud a question. Do you think he pointed that out because he and Jay had issues with the tool business? I remember that being a problem. What did he point out? Did I miss something? Both Jay and Mitch expressed their issues with the tools, but they were scared that Dexter and Britt would take their downlines to other MLMs. Okay, that's very interesting. Thank you for that. I did not know that. Even my long-term Mary Kay was birthed from them. Embarrassment when first leaving was top tier because I respected all the OGs and thought they were so different. I'm sorry, but I'm glad you left. I'm glad you're here. And yeah, I'm sorry you were embarrassed. And that's definitely a common experience for a lot of people. Okay, I'm going to keep going.
You might have a game. They might have a whole lot of names who buy training materials, who spend their money buying things, but they will never make money. And our goal is to help everybody who joins us make money.
So you literally just said what he said. They spend too much time buying things and not enough time making money. So do you think that's a subtle hint at the tool scam? Did he already mention the tool and book business or whatever? Did I miss that? My eyeballs hurt. Yeah, Rich said these people would be better off spending this time selling Amway products. That's interesting because Dexter had his 5 houses and his planes, not just from his Amway downline within the Amway compensation plan, but from the tool scam. Like, that's where he got the majority of his wealth from. And that's how he was able to recruit a huge amount of people. And that just makes more money for Rich and Jay, right? If Dexter brings in more people, they're going to get more rich. Jay and Rich were not fans of the tool scam. They felt, and it was even more of a pyramid scheme, so it was more likely to draw legal attention. Love that. Love this. This is awesome. Loving this conversation.
Learn to spend money.
And it's comical that he's saying he wants people to learn how to make money instead of just spending money. Even if we're not accounting for the tool scam, you have to buy products to join Amway. You have to meet your personal volume requirements to maintain your rank. And then you also look at the Amway tool scam where you're told you have to go to every single function. You have to buy every single book or else you're not going to be successful. And I think, in my opinion, it's similar. It's the exact same with MLM coaching nowadays. Like, if you don't get my coaching, you are never going to find success. And that's what Dexter and Bill would say too. You need to go to every event or else you're not going to have that one breakthrough. You need to follow your upline around the state to every single meeting or else you're never going to find success. Rich and Jay wanted people to spend all their time selling products and showing the plan. Dexter and Bill wanted people listening to tapes and attending functions. Rich and Jay did not make money from the scam. They did not benefit from it financially. Ooh. I was just saying, like, if Dexter brought in more people into his downline through showing like the wealth and riches he got from the tool scam, that would benefit Rich and Jay because more people are in the Amway downlines. But maybe I'm not making sense. I'm going to let it play for a few minutes. My eyeballs are starting to hurt.
That means you face people who, oh, I can't sell. And you say, let me show you how. And you take them by the hand and you teach them and show them and watch them. And then you discover that person because you put some time in them. And you help them overcome their fear. Now, some of you, as you get bigger in the business, then you worry about business. What's the company going to do? You know what the company's going to do? The company's going to go on. This is not, and I want to help you overcome a fear. This is not a business built around Rich DeVos or Jay Van Andel. This is a business about a plan created by us, by the power of God, to empower people around the world to improve themselves. That's what we are.
The plan was created by the power of God to help empower people around the world to improve themselves. No, it's an endless chain recruitment scheme. You are not changing the world. You are embedding people into a fraudulent business structure where they're going to lose money so you can be rich. Yeah, I hate the religious part because people who are like connected to their Christian faith, they're going to hear him and think, wow, I am where God wants me to be. I am being the person God envisioned me to be. I cannot leave. And then you also have Rich DeVos telling you how much he loves you and how much he respects you. And then what if you don't have that kind of connection in everyday life? You don't have people who tell you that they care about you, and that makes you even more likely to stay in. You are correct, Heather. That was the issue. They did not get paid from the tools, but with the downlines, without the downlines of the tool scammers, yeah, they would lose the Amway money. It was a contentious situation. Yikes. Agreed. Ugh. By the power of God. So, did God create your pyramid scheme comp plan? In my first Amway video, it was a 60-minute segment, and the host actually asked Dexter, well, if everyone in the world was an Amway, who would you sell to? Who would you recruit? Great point. Great question.
When the business becomes built around the individual, it is a wrong business and a weak business.
When the business is built around the individual, it is the wrong business. This makes you feel like you're connected to a greater purpose, that you're a part of a family, that it's not just about you. It's not just about you making money. It's about impacting your family and the world. And I could see how that could make people stay in for longer. The problem is that Amway IBOs believe that the millions the diamonds were earning was coming from selling products and building uplines, when the truth was the bulk of the money came from the tools. Exactly. Love that. Great point. Great point. Oh, hey, Julie. Yeah, so many comments. It's been an amazing conversation. Love it. The other day, I tried to figure out if there's a legal connection between the school business and Amway. I was confused at the point. I guess there's no legal relationship between the two. Okay, question for the people who know more about this than I, because I do not. I don't think I know that much. I know a good amount for the average person. So nowadays, I see organizations called AMOs, Amway Motivational Organizations, and there's a whole accreditation process if you want to provide people with educational materials. Is that the same thing? Is that the Amway tool scam companies as well? Like, is that the legal connection? Do you have to become accredited through Amway in order to have your own company?
Because the plan can go on forever. Our responsibility is to make sure the people like Jim and others who administer this plan protect the foundations of the plan so that the commitments made in the plan go on forward. You know, as the business went through changes, and sometimes Jerry, sometimes Fu, sometimes Sonny, sometimes Chan would say, you ought to do this, you ought to change that. And they talked to us, and, you know, some of those things they suggested we were able to do. But sometimes they wanted us to undo things that were done in the plan. And we said, we will not undo the plan. We will only improve the plan, even though when we look back, we know some of those things probably aren't quite right. But just because they aren't quite right for the new crowd doesn't mean we can undo them for those who bought into this plan when they were designed that way. Because as we go along in the business, we always look at how it works better for me. And sometimes when you watch people do things in the plan and in their side issues of the business, they don't share the money amongst all the people. They just take the money for a few people at the top. But in the end,
when you look at, they're talking about when people do their side issues of the business, like what was the exact quote? And in their side, the things in the plan and in the side issues of the business, they don't share the money. They don't share the money amongst all the people. So do you think that's also a reference to the tool scam as well? Like the people at the top of the tool scam don't share the wealth. They don't redistribute the income like among their downlines. They just keep it for themselves, right? Okay, and PH Actress said they keep the relationship hidden. They're connected on paper, but if you call Amway about LTD or BWW, they will say they have no relationship to it. How interesting. They are not connected on paper. Okay, gotcha. Thank you for that. And so Paige Actress and Limits Fraud answered your question. My father's view is that the diamonds make money, some money from tools, but the vast majority of their money is coming from Amway. I think like the scamminess of it comes from like two parts. Definitely the fact that it's portrayed as all their money comes from the Amway compensation plan and not from the tools. But in my brain, I feel like it's also scammy because it's promised if you just buy all the tapes, listen to all the audios, get the like the phone app access, then you'll have the same level of success. You'll also be an Amway millionaire. And we know that's not the case.
They just take the money for a few people at the top. But in the Amway business, it's a PV-BV business, so that it is shared all the way down the line, not just skewed to somebody who might want it. Now, those are principles we follow. In the Amway business, we protect the lines of sponsorship. I know in the tape and book business, they don't honor that always.
Okay. I'm glad Emma's fraud and my other friends are still here. In Amway, they respect the lines of sponsorship. In the tape and book business, they don't always honor that. How does Amway not honor the lines of sponsorship in the tool scam? I would love to hear what you think about that. I don't fully understand it. It's interesting how Rich DeVos is kind of like differentiating between his Amway business and the book and tape business. The Amway business, they respect the line of sponsorship. They disperse the money evenly. They want you to focus on how to make money instead of just spending money, right? And then in the Amway tool scam, they don't care about line of sponsorship, and the only people who make money are at the very top. It's just interesting how he's, as PH Actress was saying earlier, really trying to separate Amway from the tool scam, even though I think like at this point Amway would not have been as popular, as successful as it was without the downlines of the Amway tool scammers, like PH Actress said. The video is one of the most interesting videos. This video is one of the most interesting MLM videos on YouTube. Scott is wrong. Oh, the video that was on Scott's channel. Is that what you mean? Interesting. Maybe I'll go watch it. Thank you. Appreciate that. Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, Trey. How's it going? Thank you for joining. I appreciate you being here. I'm getting a lot of comments. I can't read all of them. I'm sorry. We'll be here for 27 years if I read all of them. Rich hates the tool business, but he is powerless to stop it. Yeah, he's throwing so much shade. Could it be that he means that the tool kingpins don't respect him and Jay, their sponsors? Perhaps. Love that.
And I'm not arguing that point. I can't control that. I can control something else.
Yes, you can, sir. I can't control it. It's not Amway. It's the tape and book business. You can control it if you want to, in my opinion.
And as we honor the lines of sponsorship in the Amway business. That's to protect those who aren't quite so vocal or quite so strong in doing things. Because if you don't do that right, then the smaller direct gets lost and their rights get violated. So I come to you today to assure you that you can forget that fear and don't worry about that, okay? Those are things we protect. And they aren't always the best thing to build a business or to recognize somebody. But when we started in Malaysia, we probably had 5 ways you could make money. And today we probably have a dozen ways that you can make money. We have what seems to me 100 ways you can get rewarded and recognized. We give you a penny for just standing up. Sometimes you can get a pin just for coming to a meeting. That's okay. Part of our business is reward.
Apparently, when they started in Malaysia, there's only 5 ways to make money. Now you get paid just for showing up to a meeting. No, you don't, sir. You don't get a pin. You don't rank advance for just showing up to a meeting. There are 2 ways to make money in an MLM. You recruit, you sell. You sell a product. And also in Amway, there's also the whole ass tool scam business where people make millions of dollars. And he mentioned someone named Fu. And if you've been on my channel for a while, you would remember the video I made about Crador Global. And let's look. So he directly referenced the head of Crador Global. I don't know how to say his name. Fu Hao Keen of I don't know where he was born, but as you can see, the countries that Crador Global operated in are mostly across Asia, Australia, Vietnam, Canada, Russia, United States. And Cradle Global was founded by founders Crown Ambassador Fu Hao-keen and Shu Chen. Cradle is one of the strongest and largest Amway groups in the world with more than 800 diamonds and more than 30 Crown Ambassadors and Founders Council members. Cradle philosophy states that all humans are unique and special. So subgroups such as Network, J&J, CA Success Associates, 3S Global Network, Galaxy Success Networking proliferate under the Cradle umbrella. Although these subgroups operate independently, they do come together for a family reunion. Today, Cradle Global has expanded to many countries. In 2006, Cradle Global had a rally in Bangkok, Thailand, blah, blah, blah. It's just interesting how he referenced that Fu was like, hey, this was a while ago. I should have talked about it then. Fu was saying, hey, you should change this part of the Amway plan. And apparently Rich was like, no, we're not doing that. And it's interesting how he's throwing shade on the Amway tool scam and then referencing Fu like the two of them are friends. When Fu has one of the biggest companies in the world with the most Crown Ambassadors and the most diamonds over like a dozen countries across all of Asia. Do you hate the Amway tool scam or are you friends with them? I don't understand. I don't.
Another part of our business is recognizing the importance of the individual at every level in the business. Because all of us in this room were created by God, and in our view, they are equally important to all of us. I had a lady come to me one day who was a distributor I had sponsored, and she came in the office and she was a direct distributor. We had the big company and big office, and I came downstairs, there she was. I said, Ruth, how are you? And she said, I didn't think you'd even remember me. I'm only a direct. I said, Ruth, I don't care what pin you wear. You're no less important to me. I don't respect you because of your pin. I respect you for who you are. You're a part of our organization.
That's bullshit. Every MLM CEO highly respects the people at the top of the pyramid because they know Dexter Yeager leads, Bill Britt leads, they're taking their downline with them. They're going to lose tens of thousands of distributors. So whenever I hear freaking Carl Deichler, Rich DeVos sit there and say, we love everyone contributes to the business in some way, everyone is important, that's not true. It's not true because the people at the top of the company make more money for the founders. Hugh Zhang is a former BWW Emerald qualifying IBO. He talks about seeing the money emeralds and up are making from the tools, and everyone on stage lower than that is broke. Wow. Bring out the shovel. So, yeah, you guys were talking about ranks are meaningless. And then Monica said, mine is rainbow unicorn diamond. Gary said, mine is special diamond snowflake. Love that. Neil, the problem is that Amway always makes it a part of the settlement that they're not allowed to talk about Amway publicly. Wow, interesting. Amway feels threatened. That's why they see whoever talks bad about them, trying to silence those who oppose them. Hugh and Michelle talk about a certain breaking point where you can finally see how the system works. If you're a genuine person, you will quit. But if you're okay with scamming, you won't. Love that point. That's a great point. You have to kind of ignore your morals and ethics to be successful in an MLM because at some point, as you just said, you do know what's going on. You know how you make money. You know what you have to do. And you have to be able to push back past your gut feeling that's telling you what you're doing is wrong, that's telling you you're mistreating people to continue to make money, right? Exactly.
It isn't what you do, but who you are. Being a part of this organization at any level.
If freaking Ruth leaves your company, are you still going to respect her? Are you still going to value her for who she is? No, you're not. This is all transactional. You said before you're so grateful for the friendships of everyone there, but if those people in Malaysia left, would you still care about them? Would you call them and ask them how their day is? Probably not.
Is important. And I know people say diamonds where it's at. Well, there may be something up there that diamonds where it's at. But there's a whole lot of ats other places in the business. And sometimes the at is just having friends. But when you're sick, we'll pray for you and come over to see you and to help you. That's where it's at. That's the comradeship and fellowship that builds our business. This is not just a business for money. Yes, you can make money. But the main thing you make in this business along with that are friends. And for a lot of people who are lonely in this world, this is a business of friendship. And then out of that, you begin to make money as well. But it's all built on having as much respect for the one you sponsor as you have for the one who sponsored you.
Anyone who's been in Amway, did people actually respect you? Did your uplines care about you? Did they value you as a person? If when you left, did your uplines still respect you and value you as a person? Right? He's saying one thing, and we all know the true actual experience of people is going to be completely opposite. Just trying to make it seem like Amway is a big, special, happy family, and you will not be able to find this level of human connection anywhere else. But you can. You can. Ruth, I greatly value you for who you are, but if you leave, you're a loser that we can't associate with for fear of ruining our success mindset. But it's not a cult or anything. I swear. Are you going to give a crap about Ruth when she leaves because she's not making any money? And it's not because she was scared away. It's not because she was lazy. It's because she was following the plan the way it was written, and she wasn't able to make any money.
Now, those are things I share with you so you don't get afraid of the changes that come, because this business is designed for the generations, not just for us. And so the things we do are all done carefully to protect those who came 25 years ago and those who will come in 25 years from now. This plan is just as good today as it was for Jerry and Angela when they joined 25 years ago. Everybody says, I should have got in at the beginning. Oh, really? If you'd gotten in the beginning, you might have quit a long time ago, because it was a lot tougher than it is today. And so you come today surrounded by a successful history, and you build on that history. And I know a lot of plans, because of the way the plans are written, favor those who got in at the beginning. But anybody who joins Amway today has just as good an opportunity to be where Chan is, a better opportunity to be where Chan is than Chan did when he came in. Very important, because everybody thinks, I should have got in on the ground floor, so I'm not going. I have all sorts of people tell me that. Oh, I should have got in the beginning. I said, what difference does it make? It's not when you get in, it's what you do after you get in. And that's an excuse, a fear, that I should have got in then. And you got all sorts of friends like I do who said, oh, it's too late now. They don't comprehend the magnificence of this plan. And you.
Okay, I was trying to let him talk. Julie, that sounds amazing. I don't think only people who are mods can leave links. But if you want, if you're comfortable with it, you can send me an email, or you can just leave like what you searched for or the title of the document, and then we can go back and look. I was listening to him. I was shaking my head because I was getting annoyed. Apparently, those who got in 25 years ago, which were here, like, I don't know, I can't do math, 1975, the people who got in 1975, they had a harder time than we did getting in 2001, because there was not an established level of success yet. There were less tools. There was less business training. There were less very successful people where you could follow their template. You could follow what they were doing. But we know it's bullshit. Yeah, MLM's Fraud said it was easier in the beginning because nobody knew what Amway was. Lies. Exactly. Because, yeah, never tell your prospects it's Amway. Because now, even in 2001, in 2023, if you go and try to recruit someone into Amway and you don't tell them that it's Amway, they're going to know the tactics. They're going to be able to catch onto it so quickly, and they're going to say no. We hear this constantly with Monet people, with beach body people. It doesn't matter when you got in, because Trina Gray likes to say all the time, when I got in, there was only Facebook. There was no Instagram. We just had one flavor of Shakeology and DVDs. We didn't even have Energize yet. It was so much harder. It was so much harder to build your business. When, if there's less Beachbody coaches in 2008 versus now, versus 2023, it's automatically easier because you have less competition. Why am I getting annoyed? And he's just saying it in such a reasonable manner. He's a cute old guy. He seems like a nice person, but what he's saying is blatant lies. It's predatory. It's making it seem like these people who just got in 2001 have a chance to become a crown ambassador, and chances are they're not going to become a crown ambassador. And he's just putting this false sense of security in their heads that all they have to do is just keep pushing. They just have to keep pushing. They have to go to the events. They have to take in all the training, they have to consume all the training, and then they can find success too. And I get upset when I hear this, obviously.
We'll have to work to overcome that. But some of those people don't really want to get in anyway. They can't compete with you, so they're not going to start. Now I want to share a little bit about me because of those fears I've had to overcome and the fear of rejections that we live with in life, that all of us live with. People who rejected you when you got in the business and who stopped being your friends because you got in this business. You all must have some like that. I know
If your friends aren't talking to you because you're in Amway, that's a red flag. And you should probably evaluate why your friends are ignoring you. And yes, Anastasia, thank you. I did take my eye jobs when I took the camera off for like a minute. I did take them. Thank you so much. I might be running out of steam here. I might be. I want to keep going, but my eyes are hurting and I'm feeling tired. But I want to go for a little bit longer. We'll see. Oh, the cute old man shtick is part of the grift. Remember, you don't get conned by unlikable people. True. I think if you search by recipients of the FTC's Notice of Penalty Offenses concerning substantiation of product claims, it was published April 2023. Love that. Thank you for that. Yes, that would bring red flags. Say this name, but not Amway. Monica, Fight Club may have well copied that line from Amway or Quickstart or A2K. Why can't we say the name of our workplace? Why aren't we allowed to say where we work? That seems strange, right? That should be a red flag. I took the camera off. When I took the camera off and he was talking for like 30 seconds, that's when I did it.
I do. I still have people who act that way. Now, many, many years ago, when I had my first heart attack, my first bypass surgery, my body...
If you've been around for a while, you would remember the video we did a million years ago about his heart attack, where he had a heart attack and was waiting around for a heart to, like a new heart, and like all the odds were against him. If you don't want to hear about serious health things and potentially passing away, you can skip the video. You can skip the rest of the video and you can just catch the next Amway video if you want. But we're going to talk about health stuff now. And why? Why are we talking about health stuff at business training?
Began to reject me. And we got some surgery and my body did pretty good then. And so we overcame that rejection by taking some pain. And oftentimes there's pain in overcoming the rejection of your friends or of your body or of your distributors or of others you know. Well, rejection, there are two things I think are the most difficult things to handle. Fear of rejection and jealousy. As an experienced old guy, jealousy or envy are two things I found are important. I have a little line that says,
maybe he's not going to talk about his health stuff here, but isn't it interesting? His body rejected his heart and he had to use pain medicine to get through the pain, to persevere. And he's comparing that to the pain of rejection, our friends rejecting us, our spouse wondering why we're in the business, people questioning why we're part of Amway. It's interesting. Why are we comparing everyday rejection to a health crisis?
The problems of the world are caused by comparison. I spend too much of my time comparing myself with somebody else or with somebody in a different part of the world. And say, oh, they do this, or we do that, and they do this, and they got a house bigger than we have, and we got a smaller car, and we spend all of our time comparing ourselves. Try to stop worrying about where you stand in relationship to somebody else. When I was a young boy, we were very poor, just like many.
I always talk about my medical conditions at work. And also, your childhood of financial insecurity and trauma and health crises, right? Why are we talking about this at work? He's going to talk about financial insecurity, about living in poverty. Why in the world are we talking about this at work? I'm going to try 1.75 and see if that feels like it's quicker, because I feel like he's talking extremely slow. Bill, Dexter Yeager, and Jay and Mitch, none of them live to really old ages. Lots of people live to older ages who do not use Amway's amazing supplements. Exactly. Brilliant point. What do Rich and Jay care about the kingpins? There. Rich, did I miss any good comments? Let's see. Yeah, think about any other workplace environment where you are being told to talk about trauma, talk about poverty, growing up in poverty, and talk about medical conditions. I don't tell people at work about medical stuff unless I have to, unless I am needing to take time off work, which has only happened once. And that's when I told my work about my medical issue.
Give you. But I never envied or was jealous of the other people in the other end of town who had a car or had a nicer home or a job, because my father was unemployed. All we said was, if they can do it, we can do it. That's all.
So because when he was a little kid and his family had no money, he was never jealous of anyone else who had money, because he was able to not be jealous. That means we cannot be jealous. How are we not supposed to compare ourselves to other people when successful distributors in Amway, in any MLM, are thought of as celebrities? They're held up on this amazingly high pedestal. Everyone loves them. Everyone wants to replicate their life, their relationships, the way they run their business, the way they communicate. And you're telling us not to compare. You're telling us comparison is a thief of joy, but MLM is set up for us to compare ourselves to the successful people and feel shitty about it. So that's all MLM's doing. It's your doing. If people are comparing themselves to Dexter or Bill or Rocky Covington, it's your company, sir. It's your company and it's your fault. Maybe you don't need to hold the most successful Amway distributors up on huge pedestals and say, you just need to do what they do and then you'll find success. Yeah, I bet you were jealous. Exactly. I bet that is not a real story. You think he was envious of Dexter?
And we're going to go to work and work harder so we can do better and improve our condition.
So we just have to ignore the fact that that Dexter is making money, Rocky was making money, Bobby Harris was making money. We have to ignore that and just focus on us. We just have to work harder. And it doesn't matter if we don't make any money. It doesn't matter if they continue to make money off of us losing money. We just need to work harder. It's our fault. That's bullshit. The kingpin's tool scam behavior brought with it the potential to catch the FTC's eye again. It's even more of a pyramid scheme than Amway itself. Also, they're greedy, plain and simple. Really? Yeah, Dexter, kind of a culty speaker a lot of the time. Some of the speeches we've watched or listened to on here are very strange, but you're right. He could captivate an audience. He was excellent at it, for sure.
That's what you've done. So I'm going to go to work to improve our condition. And now you can keep doing that. So that's a problem. Don't worry about that one. But I was getting rejected by my body. And then about 10 years ago, I had a stroke.
Okay, here's the health stuff. Sorry, friends.
My left side is still...
It's just stroke and heart attack and, yeah, and worrying about where he's going to get his heart from.
Paralyzed to some extent. That's why they give the old man a chair once in a while. That's why I'm not walking around the stage like I used to, because I'm a little unsteady because of a stroke, and my hand is numb. But just like all of you who have certain things in your body that aren't working quite right, that's okay. You just walk and keep going. And we all got it.
Not everyone can just walk and keep going. Not everyone is lucky to survive a stroke, survive a heart attack. Some people have conditions that make it really hard for them to function day to day. People might have chronic pain. People might have severe mental health challenges that make it hard for them to even get out of bed. And I really don't like the way he's being so nonchalant. Just whatever. I had a major health crisis. I'm just going to keep going. Why do you need to keep going Why? Why can't we just focus on healing, focus on becoming better, and come back to our business when we're ready? It should be a red flag that we can't take any time off from our business without losing significant momentum, because we hear that all the time. You take 2 days off, it's going to take you a week to catch up. Why? Why is it going to take us a week to catch up? I thought it was our own business. I have definitely seen Sean Munger's video on the history of the tool scam. It was fabulous, for sure.
Something. But we don't let that control us, do we? But our body's rejecting us a little. So I got a stroke, and then a bad heart attack, and then another bypass surgery, and then a bad staph infection, which almost killed me. That was worse than the heart attack, I think. Although when I went to the hospital for the bypass, the doctor said, well, we'll wait to operate till morning. If he's living in the morning, we'll operate. But he didn't think I would make it through the night. That's how bad my heart was at that time. But the Lord kept me alive till morning. And so he operated and bypassed. And I lived then.
The Lord kept me alive until morning. Lots of subtle references to MLM or to religion. The plan is a vision of God. The Lord kept him alive until morning. Again, just to connect to people who are really deeply rooted in their Christian faith and who may want to be around other people who are also really connected to their faith. So I think it's very predatory, but it's not obviously predatory. And like Paige Actress said, it's coming from a very cute older guy, and he's saying it in a really nice way, and he's being really quiet and respectful, and you're not going to really notice that what he's saying is problematic and could be unethical.
Some time, but I had a bad staph infection, because I lost all of my breastbone at that time. Because when you have staph, it's like battery acid. It ate up the breastbone. So my chest bones were in two pieces. And I lived with that until I had my heart transplant. And then he was able to pull it back together. But that was okay. We came through that too. Prayer of my friends and of many of you was a part of that healing process. And I thank you for that as well.
Exactly. We don't care about your heroic survival stories. We're not inspired that you chose to use your multiple chances at life to harm people. And also, he was in an extremely privileged situation to be able to, he's going to talk about it. He went to London, I think, and stayed at a hotel to get a heart from the one place who would operate on someone who, like, of his age. And I'm very happy that he had more time with his family and his children. And it was great. I'm happy that he was able to extend his life and like live a full and happy life, apparently. But it's a little bit tone deaf, because if that happened to someone in Amway who is not one of the lucky people at the top of the company, they would not have the resources required to get that level of medical care. And I just don't like it, because that's not like that. You or me in the United States would not be able to save our lives through running off to London or through getting access to the best heart surgeon in the United States. Because everything costs $1 million in the US too. And it's trying to show that he was able to overcome significant physical health challenges, multiple like crisis after crisis, to expand Amway, to build his business. So we do not have any excuse to not constantly work our business. I don't like that, because everyone has different capacities to deal with challenges. Just because Rich was able to keep pushing and continue to build his company does not mean that me, as your average person, would be able to also do that as well. We all have different mental health issues. We all handle things differently. We all see the world differently. How is he so unhealthy when he's using the world's most expensive and therefore the best supplements? Lesson of the day: Amway supplements do not make you healthier. Jay, Rich, Bill, and Dexter are all proof of this. Quite the mystery, not ministry. Quite the ministry. No offense to Americans, but your healthcare system is awful. Here in Australia, we have free universal healthcare. Yeah, in Canada too, but like the surgery would be free, but the medicine you would need after the surgery is not free. The like, say you need some physical therapy, that wouldn't be free. If you need a cast, like a cast isn't free. Seeing a doctor, the basic healthcare is free, but anything that comes after that is not free if you don't have insurance.
But my heart kept failing, and I stopped traveling. stepped out of my office. Dick took over. The kids were growing up. And so I start walking slowly and more carefully. Helen took charge of my calendar, and she told me what I could do and when I had to take a nap. And so we did like that. And then the doctors came to our house when I was 70 years old, and they said, we think you have 1 year to live, unless we can get you a new heart. You are suffering congestive heart failure, and you will be gone in a year. However, he said, I think I know where to send you where you might be able to get a heart. Now, by this time, he had called every heart transplant center in the United States and been rejected by all of them. And they said, he's too old, he's too sick, he's a diabetic, he's too high risk. Besides, we don't have enough hearts anyway, so we won't consider him. So just like you when you built your business, and you had meetings, and people didn't come, and rejected you, we got rejected. You know, I always say to people, when you're trying to sell something, a product or an idea, and you get rejected, sometimes you say, they're rejecting me. Usually they're not rejecting you. They're rejecting your idea or your product. But your newer distributors always take that as a personal rejection. Oh, I can't do it. But that's not what it means. Anyway, we got rejected. But he said, there's one doctor in London who might consider you because you are AB positive blood type.
Again, rejection is, you're going to experience rejection all the time, right? In day-to-day life, people are going to tell you no. Say you want to go out for dinner with your spouse and they don't want to, or a friend like stands you up when you go to the movies. Rejection is a part of everyday life, and that's fine. We've heard Fraser Brooks 1,000 years ago on this channel say, well, flight attendants, they go up and down the aisles for the entire flight and say, do you want coffee or tea? No? Okay, that's fine. And then they keep going. So if flight attendants don't get upset when when people say no to them every single countless times a day, then why do we care? Well, rejection in MLM, rejection in Amway is not just someone saying no to us. It is us not being able to sustain ourselves. It's us not being able to make our livelihood, to feed our families, to keep a roof over our head. So it is very, very high stakes when you're rejected in an MLM, because it takes over your entire life. You are prospecting constantly. You are guilted and shamed when you don't go show the plan 5 nights a week, when you don't prospect everyone you meet. And it's different because your entire identity is tied into you're convincing people to join you in Amway. And when that doesn't happen, not only are you not feeding your family and keeping your family housed, your identity is also being questioned as well. Yeah, they're rejecting Amway because they know it's a scam. Exactly. I don't want to buy your crappy products, dude. Just because you're a salesperson does not give you the right to force someone to buy something. Exactly. If you want to be rejected over and over, there's no better place to be than in Amway. Yeah. Yeah. And it's not like they're making it seem like it's so strange that we're scared that we're getting rejected in Amway. No, it means we don't have food, sir. Well, Amway MLM CEOs are making millions of dollars. The people who are getting rejected constantly can't feed themselves.
And he said sometimes he has an extra heart. And so they sent me to London. He made no promise he would take me. He knew all about me physically. He had all the x-rays and MRIs and scans and blood tests. He had all of it. And he could have taken it from that and said yes or no. But he said, no, I want to meet him. And so we flew to London. Helen and I moved into the hotel. We said, we're staying. We're going to get a heart. He hadn't said he'd give us a heart yet. But he was the only one left in the world. Maybe you feel that way sometimes when you're trying to sponsor, huh? That's the way you feel sometimes. But then you got to feel like we did. He's going to take us. The next one. We're going to find the next one. Huh? And so we went to see him. And I'll tell you why. And he told...
It's not rude at all. I understand. We shouldn't be guilted into buying something we don't want to buy. Not rude.
Dick, he said it would take 4 days to examine him and see if we can give him a new heart. And so we got to the hospital and we started visiting with the doctor. And 2 hours later, he said, okay, I'll see if I can get you a new heart. The kids are going, wow. He said, it's going to take several days. And here he is saying, okay. I was there a couple months ago and I talked to him again to double check. And I said, why did you say you would take me? He said, well, I saw something in you that told me you could go through this procedure, that you had the inner strength you needed. He said, it just seemed to me like you had purpose in your life. You knew who you were. You knew where you came from. You knew you could do things yet. You had a reason to live. He said, in talking to you, I detected that. You had something about you. Now, you see, I know what that something is. See, that is the Spirit of God in me. And if you know God, it's in you. And that's...
I'm thrilled that he was able to have more time with his family. I'm thrilled he was able to find the healthcare that he needed. But Lori is right. I don't remember what the name of this video was. It's on my channel somewhere. He was in an extremely privileged position to, I'm going to look, as I talked all about this. What's it called? I don't know, man. It was so long ago. Whatever. I talked all about this. He was in an extremely privileged position to be able to pick up his family, his wife, and move into a hotel in London, stay in that hotel for a long period of time, and get healthcare in another country. And it's making it seem like he is just like he got to that position because he persevered, he had the right mindset, he had the strength of God within him, and it makes it seem like in order to succeed in Amway, have the right mindset, persevere, and have the strength of God in you. It's nothing to do with Rich's level of privilege. It's nothing to do with his financial position, him being a millionaire. It's just because he had a connection to God. So in Amway, you just have to have a connection to God, then you can also be successful. There is never an acknowledgement of one's privilege in an MLM anywhere. No one will say, well, I got in pretty early, so that's why I'm successful. No one will say, well, I had a big following on Instagram, so it was easy for me to recruit. No one will say, oh, well, I was a hairdresser before, so I had a huge network before I even started. Sorry. No one will say I had a huge network before I started. It's always just persevered. Tony Van Schoik says that too, and she was the first ever Money distributor. Means no money, no victory, no spiritual growth, no freedom. You made the Amway recruiting everything to them. Then judge them when they're scared of losing it. Exactly. You feel me. You understand. I'd love to hear the surgeon's version of this. Oh, Lori's going. Oh, yay. It's a pleasure to learn from you too. I'm so happy you were here. It's so fun to see you. And I hope you have a good evening. Thank you for being here. Okay. If God is real, I can assure. Yes, exactly. Exactly. It's horrible to let the MLM become your sole identity and your only purpose in life. That's a cult. Exactly. I love how you were all of you on the same page as me. If the doctor said anything, it was, I saw something in you, a whole bunch of money. Yeah, exactly. Because think about the level of privilege that one would have to have. Like if he was there for a while, you might, I don't know, do Americans need to have some kind of visa to go to the United Kingdom or whatever? You would need a visa of some sort. You would need to do airfare. You would need food. You need a hotel. His children were grown-ups, but you were uprooting your entire life to go to another continent to get the healthcare that you need. That you have a high level of privilege. Not a bad thing because he was able to get the health care that he needed to save his life, but the average person cannot replicate that experience, just like the average person cannot replicate Dexter Yeager's experience in Amway.
That's why you can overcome rejection, because you have what it takes to go through that. And as a Christian, see, I know who I am. And it was okay if I died. I was ready for that. And it was okay if I lived. I was prepared for that. But he said, you had something about you. And you see, that is why you are in this room today. Because you have something about you which overcomes all those rejections.
Making them feel special again. Wow. Rich DeVos said, there's something special in me. There's something unique that's going to help me find success. Again, people are being praised just for being in the room with him when chances are they have not found any level of financial gain from being in that room. They're not getting any amount of valuable business lessons, business tactics. They're just learning about how Rich had a financially unstable upbringing and he had multiple health crises and he worked through a hernia. He held in his hernia. How is that going to help us build our business? Yes, families and friendships get destroyed. Exactly. Sometimes the family members never get out and never even realize what they're in. Aww. We see the indoctrination in all the Zoom videos from all the anti-MLM creators of the cult-like devotion they have for the MLM. Yeah, it's not just a job, it's your identity. Exactly. Here they go again, moralizing and making everything bigger than it really is. Yes, exactly. It's not just a job, it's God's mission, God's vision for you. Mm-mm.
And remember that when you're down. And you're down to the last one. Because you have it. You've overcome so much that you have proven that you have the ability to go on. Now, he accepted me. We waited 5 months. In that 5 months, I went to the hospital every Monday morning. They checked me every day, every Monday. They checked to see how long I could live without going into the hospital. And they determined my heart had been so badly damaged that I needed a very special heart, a strong right side heart. So I not only needed an unusual blood type and a tissue match and a size match, but a special, strong right side heart. A normal heart from a normal person who had not worked in me. But the Lord put in that very same hospital a woman who had bad lungs, who was AB positive, and whose heart God designed for me. How else do you explain that she would be in that very same hospital at that very same time when I was running out of time? And so they said to her,
and that's amazing. I'm happy that the person who had the heart you needed was in the hospital at the same time, who like they were able to get their heart that they needed as well. And maybe like it could have like you praying to God may have like brought that result to you, right? Like that may have helped you. I guess that's fine. But you're making it seem like just like that woman, you believe that woman was in the hospital with your heart for a reason, that they're at this event for a reason, and they just have to live out God's will. They just have to do what God wants them to do, and then they too will find success, just like he found success through prayer, through having the right mindset, and he was able to find the right heart, right? And yeah, it could be a coincidence, but I believe that perhaps he believes that his prayer helped that situation, helped bring that woman into his life so he could live. I can understand that. I can understand how someone would believe that for sure. But he's not just sharing that story to help other people learn about through his experience or connect with others who had a health crisis. He's using that story to connect back to Amway and to say, God's where he wants you to be, just stick it out. What the hell does this have to do with growing a business? And how much do you think these people pay to be at this event to see Rich speak? How much? Right? So maybe it's like $100, but we haven't heard anything of value here, right?
if we can find you a new heart and lung, we have your heart. Because they knew it would work in me. And so it was that they got a new heart and lung for her from the continent. And along with a strong right side and a blood type and a tissue match and a right size heart, all that stuff, it had to be a heart that nobody in the United Kingdom could use at that point in time. Because I was a foreigner. I was last on the list. And so at that time, nobody else could use that heart. And my doctor told me that heart would not have worked in anybody else. Anyway, he said it would have died in a bucket. That's the way they speculate. I would have put it in a bucket and it would have died there. Because you can only wait 4 hours from when you remove a heart until it's up and running. And so I received that new heart and went on from there. A few days after my operation, I'm walking down the hall, a woman comes out of her room and says, "Did you get a new heart on June 2?" And I said, "Yes." She says, "You have my heart." And so we had a big hug and a kiss and a rejoicing together about the miracle of God in our lives.
And that's wonderful if he believed this. Like, that's wonderful if that happened. He connected with the person who had his heart and he hugged them and he rejoiced with them. That's wonderful. But we need to think about the motive. Why is he telling us this? I already said it. Just believe, pray, and God will bring the success to you. God will make what you want your reality. And that's not true. It's just further brainwashing people and making them just believe in the mission and stay in Amway for as long as possible. I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again here. Because I don't know. What do you think? My dad is proof that listening to this rubbish for hours every day does not make you rich. Exactly. Yeah, and what does this have to do with business? I would understand this being at like the hospital, at the cardiac center with people who are about to go into a life-threatening open heart surgery, right? And he has a motivational story. He was able to go through a lot and he got the heart he needed. And now he's living, or at this point, he was living and relatively healthy. Like in that environment, I get that makes sense. But in an employment environment, in a business environment, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, what does this have to do with business development exactly? Yeah, she got another heart because the heart she had wasn't working for her. So she got another heart and then Rich got her heart. Yes. Oh, sorry. Was that not clear? Yeah. She got a different heart. Good question.
But you see, it all comes with that Spirit of God that is in you to overcome rejection and fear and to take on new challenges. Now, I live with rejection every day. I take a pill for it. I'm somewhere in here. My hand's a little numb, so I can't always feel it. It's a little. Anyway, it's a nice little package. Oops, that's a cufflink. That's not the thing I needed. Wrong shirt today. But I take a little medicine. 2 little pills a day. Not Neutralite. I take that too. What, you want to see that, Jerry? Here, these are my Neutralites. So I just keep those over here. I want you to know I take that too. Anyway. How do you overcome rejection? I take a pill.
Sorry, I hope other people weren't confused. Because at first I was like, wait a second. Why are we talking about it if she had to, like, if she passed away and he got her heart, but she got a different heart. So hopefully no one else was super confused. And if you were, I'm sorry. We know now. Zombie apocalypse. He got his heart through prayer, through mindset, through not worrying about rejection. And so we have to pray, have the right mindset, not worry about rejection, and we too can find success in Amway and we can achieve our goals. Not merely a hernia, he suffered so much, and God obviously had a plan for him. More soap for everyone. Exactly. Thanks, Rich, for proving to us that Nutrilite does not make you healthier. Yeah, good point.
Pill for it. I have the power of God in me, just like you. But I also overcome fear by doing the things I fear. And I also overcome fear by prayer. And I have a new book I've written all about this. So faith will help you overcome fear. And my new book is called Hope from My Heart. And we will have a copy for all of you a little bit later. Thank you, everybody.
Has anyone read his books? Has anyone read Rich DeVos' book? I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. We should all be feeling so magical and heartwarming by now and go right out and talk to 1 million people for Amway. I think it's a well-manipulated story, putting him with a degree of separation from somebody else's death. Oh, but she did not pass away. She got a different heart. That wasn't clear for everyone before. She got the heart she needed, and then Rich got the heart that he needed from her. So she did not pass away. It took me a couple times listening to it to understand that too, so my apologies. Maybe I should have made that more clear. Rich is so jealous that Dexter sold so many more books than him. Ooh, of course he has a book. He can't tell a story if he's grateful that someone died to give him the heart. Exactly. So did we learn anything? We learned that Rich DeVos, he had a financially unstable upbringing. We learned that he was able to overcome multiple health crises through perseverance and prayer. We learned that he cares about the respect and the friendship he has with everyone in the room in Malaysia. However, if people quit in your downline, then you just need to replace them, and like it doesn't matter. We know that leaders are not they are not just they're born a leader, but we are in the leader discovery business. We're not a salesperson. We are a leader discovery. You're discovering leaders instead of just recruiting, because they like to have fancy words. Yeah, we learned that Amway supplements do not make you healthy. Exactly. Did I miss anything? I'm surprised I was actually able to remember things from my wrap up, because this was a long one for me and I oftentimes don't remember what we just listened to. I had a timeshare lady tried to sell me a timeshare I did not buy, and she moved on to another person. Exactly. Sales is fine. Sales on its own is not unethical, but we just need to not recruit people into an unethical business structure, and we need to leave people alone when they say no. I'm glad you liked it. That makes me so happy. Thank you so much. I hope your eyes get better. Rest tonight and hope you feel better soon. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I was trying to pace myself. I wanted to give good commentary, but I was like, no, I'll try to let it play for a minute and then I'll say something, just so I don't like tucker myself out. But I'm happy I got through it all. And I think my commentary is pretty good. Oh my goodness, so many comments just came up out of nowhere. Love this. He didn't have, oh, yes, your point was he didn't have to talk about someone dying. Okay, I understand. So it made a good story. It made a good motivational story. Got you. Got you. Yeah, you're right. Just imagine if Rich had lived to 100, it would have been because of the anti supplements, right? Thank you, Mr. Ranger Lab. I appreciate that so much. Thank you, Gary. Woohoo. Thank you, PH Actress. Yay! Woohoo! I'm gonna go live again, I think on Sunday. I'm not gonna do part 2 of this one because we finished it, but I hope you guys would join me. If not, you can catch the replay. Thank you so much for hanging out for this long, and I will see you next time. Bye!